There is a circle in red marker on my kitchen calendar. I did not put it there. I noticed it on a Tuesday, standing at the counter with my coffee, and I told myself it was nothing. Probably a delivery date. Probably the gutter cleaning. I went back to my toast, but it stayed in the corner of my eye for 3 days. March the 14th. Just a number with a circle around it. Hanging on the same nail it has hung on for longer than I can say. That calendar is from the hardware store downtown. They used to give them out free every December, a different barn or covered bridge for every month. They stopped doing that years ago. I kept using the last one they gave me anyway. Just right over the old months when a new year starts. There is a coffee ring on February from some year I could not tell you, and a torn corner on August where the dog used to chew at it before he passed. 94 years old. Vivian, though hardly anyone uses it anymore except the woman who calls about my refrigerator warranty. Walter and I bought this house the year after we married, back when the street was still half dirt, and the lot next door was just a field somebody's cows got into twice a summer. We paid for it in a way nobody does anymore, in person, with a man named Mr. Holloway who smoked a pipe through the whole signing and never once looked up from the papers. I have outlived the street as it was then twice over. The cows are gone, Mr. Holloway is gone. Most of the people who built these houses are gone. I am still here, in the same kitchen, looking at a calendar with somebody else's handwriting on it. My daughter came on a Saturday. No call first. Just her car in the driveway, and that tight smile she gets when she has already decided something and is only waiting for the right minute to say it out loud. I have known that smile since she was about 9 years old. She used to wear it right before telling me she had broken something of mine. She did not sit down right away. She walked, slow, through the kitchen, the hallway, the spare room, looking at things the way you look at a used car you are thinking of buying. The step stool by the sink, Walter built that himself, out of a milk crate and a piece of plywood, after I complained twice in 1 week about not reaching the good mixing bowl. He was annoyed about it, I remember. Said I should have just asked him to get the bowl down instead of making a project out of it. He painted it the same blue as the trim on the porch, just because he had the paint left over. She looked at that stool a long time, like it was evidence of something. She stopped at the spare room doorway too, did not go in. Just stood there looking at the boxes stacked against the far wall, the ones I had not opened since Walter passed, and I watched her decide not to ask about them. Not yet. Then she sat at my table, folded her hands the way she does, and said the house was a lot to keep up with. Said maybe somewhere smaller, somewhere with support. Support. That is the word now. Not a home. Support. I said I was managing fine. She said, "Are you?" Not a question, really. More like she had already written the answer down somewhere before she walked in. I wanted to tell her I have been in this house longer than she has been alive. That I know which window sticks in July and which one does not latch right in a storm. That I know exactly which step on the back porch gives a little if you do not step on the left side of it. I did not say any of it. I just looked at my own counters, the way she was looking at them, and for one terrible second I saw what she saw. After she left, I sat by the phone for a while, not calling anyone, just sitting. The house got that particular kind of quiet. It gets in the late afternoon, when the light comes in low through the west window, and you can hear the refrigerator more than you usually do. Then I went looking for a project, something to prove with my hands what I could not prove out loud. I bought plastic bins from the dollar store, clear ones. Spent 2 days sorting drawers into them, labeling everything with a marker that kept running out of ink halfway through a word. The junk drawer, the medicine drawer, a bin just for batteries, which I thought was clever at the time, though I could not tell you now what I imagined doing with a bin of loose batteries sorted by size. By the time I finished, my hallway had towers of bins in it, and my house looked worse than before I had started. Worse than it had looked in years, if I am honest about it. I stood there looking at a label that said Walter's Tools and did not even remember writing it. I had to sit down on one of the bins for a minute, which was not a comfortable place to sit, and think about why I would write a label like that when I had not touched the toolbox in 3 years. That same week, my neighbor Connie stopped by with tomatoes from her garden, too many as usual, more than any 2 people could eat before they went soft. She stood in my doorway looking past me at all the bins stacked up, and I waited for her to ask about it, the way anyone would. She did not, just handed me the tomatoes in a grocery bag that already had a small split starting in the bottom corner, and said she would see me Thursday for the church rummage sorting like always. I appreciated that she did not ask. Connie has never asked me a question she thought I did not want to answer. I have known her 31 years, and that is the thing I would tell you about her if you only had time for one thing. It was that week I found out about the circle. My son called to ask how the sorting was going. I asked him, casual as I could manage, why there would be a date marked on my calendar that I did not remember marking. There was a pause on the line, the kind of pause that tells you everything before anyone says a word. I could hear him moving something in the background, a chair maybe, like he needed a second to decide how to start. He said his sister had already called a place, said there was an opening, and she had taken it. And then, almost as an afterthought, the way you mentioned something you forgot was the actual point. He said she had also called someone about the house. Somebody coming out next month to walk through, take photographs, get a number on it, just to know what it is worth, he said. Just in case. I did not say anything for a second. I was looking at the calendar while we talked, at that red circle, and I understood it was not a delivery date or a gutter cleaning. It was a room somewhere with my name already on a waiting list, and a stranger already scheduled to walk through my kitchen with a camera, measuring up a house that was still, as far as I knew, mine. I asked him what the room looked like. He said he did not know. He had not seen it. Just that Linda said it was nice. I did not ask about the photographer. I hung up not long after that. I sat at the table a long while, did not cry, just sat with my hand flat on the calendar page, like I could feel the circle through my fingers if I pressed hard enough. The refrigerator hummed. Somewhere outside, a lawnmower started up and ran for a while and stopped. I almost called her that night, had the phone in my hand twice. Once I even dialed the first 6 numbers before I put it down again. I am not sure what stopped me exactly. Maybe I did not want to hear her explain it in that careful voice, the one that would make it sound reasonable, make it sound like something done out of love instead of something done around me instead of with me. So I did not call. I went to bed instead and lay there a long time listening to the house settle the way it does at night, the way it has settled every night for 60-some years, like it was still deciding whether to agree with me or with her. The next morning I went into the spare bedroom, the one that had turned into a place where things went to be forgotten about. Boxes I had not opened in years, a sewing machine I had used twice. I opened the first box and there were sweaters in it, folded the way I had folded them after Walter passed, because I could not look at them and could not throw them out either. I held one up, navy, soft from wear at the elbows, and I asked myself a different question than usual. Not does this mean something, just is keeping this making anything easier? It was not. I folded it back up and put it in a bag for donating. Then the next one. In the same box, underneath the sweaters, there was a recipe card in my mother-in-law's handwriting for a pound cake nobody in this family has made since she died. The corner was stained from something, butter probably, from however many years ago she wrote it. I kept that, put it in the kitchen drawer where the good recipes live, separate from the bins. Further down in the box was the old answering machine, the kind with the little tape inside, the same one we stopped using when everyone got cell phones and never bothered to throw away. There is still a message on it. I know that because I checked years ago and never erased it. I did not check this time. Just put the whole machine, cord and all, into the donation bag and did not think about whether that was the right thing to do until I had already moved on to the next box. I went through the kitchen next. 3 can openers down to 1. 4 sets of measuring cups down to 1. A garlic press I am fairly sure I never once used in 40 years of owning it. The good china I had not taken out of the cabinet in 30 years went into a box for the church sale, the same sale Connie sorts for on Thursdays. I kept 1 hammer, gave the rest of Walter's tools away to whoever wanted them at the donation center, and did not ask where they went after that. There was a level in there too, the long yellow kind, and for a second I almost kept it just because it had his thumbprint worn into the side of it where he always held it. I put it in the bag anyway. I found a shoebox of report cards, David's, Linda's, going back to grade school. I read through a few of them sitting on the floor of the spare room, which took longer than I meant it to, the afternoon going by in a way I did not notice until the light changed. David always did fine in everything except handwriting, every single year, the same note from every teacher. Linda's teacher wrote the same comment 3 years running, talks during quiet time. I laughed at that, alone, in an empty room, and it felt strange to laugh about something so small, while everything else felt so large. I kept the shoebox, did not open it again after that. There was a stack of magazines too, gardening ones mostly. Some of them with pages folded down at articles I must have meant to go back to. I do not garden anymore, not really. Just a few pots on the porch that Connie waters half the time. I let those go without much trouble. Some things you can tell right away you are not attached to. It is the other things that take longer, the ones you have to hold for a minute before you know. Near the bottom of that same box, wrapped in a dish towel that did not match anything I have ever owned, was a small wooden box I did not recognize at first. Inside it, a man's wedding ring, too small to be Walter's, and a photograph of 2 people I did not know, standing in front of a car I also did not know, somewhere with mountains behind them. I turned it over. No writing on the back. I have no idea whose box that was, or how it ended up in mine. Whether it came from a yard sale 40 years ago, or got mixed in with something else entirely. I put it back in the dish towel and set it on the dresser instead of in the donation bag. I am still not sure what I am going to do with it. By the end of the week, I had filled enough bags that I lost count, more than I expected when I started, and a part of me kept waiting to feel worse about it than I did. The spare room turned back into a room you could actually sleep in. My counters were clear enough to set a pot down without moving 3 other things first. The hallway was just a hallway again, not an obstacle course of clear plastic bins with handwriting on them I did not recognize as my own. And something in me got quieter. Not happier exactly, just quieter. The kind of quiet you do not notice until a day or two has gone by and you realize you have not been bracing for anything. Connie noticed the bags by the curb on trash day and asked if I was all right, standing there in her robe with her own trash can, the kind of question she would only ask outright about something that small. I told her I was fine, better than fine, and she gave me a look like she did not quite believe the second part but let it go, the way she lets most things go with me. She did take one of the gardening magazines off the top of a bag before the truck came. Said she liked the pictures even if she never tried the recipes in the back. I told her to take the whole stack if she wanted. She took 3. My daughter came back 2 weeks later, same slow walk through the house. But this time she stopped in the kitchen doorway and did not say anything for a second, looking at the counters, then down the hallway, then back at me. She asked if someone had helped me. I told her no. She looked around at the spare room with its made-up bed for the first time in years, at the clear hallway, at the recipe card sitting out on the counter where I had left it, and said it looked manageable. That word again, manageable. She did not bring up the room she had held for me, not that visit. I did not bring it up either, or the realtor, or any of it. We sat at the table instead, and she told me about a co-worker's bad haircut for 20 minutes, like nothing else in the world had happened between us, like the last month had not happened at all, and I let her talk, because some days that is easier than the alternative, and because I had already decided something while she was talking that I was not ready to say out loud yet. At one point she reached over and straightened the recipe card on the counter, just a small thing, lining it up square with the edge, the way she has done with crooked picture frames since she was a girl. I did not say anything about it. Some habits outlast whatever started them. After she left, I walked back into the kitchen and stood at the counter a minute, looking at that calendar on its same nail. The circle was still there, March 14th. I never asked her to take it back, and she never offered, and I have stopped expecting her to. I got a pen out of the drawer, looked at the date for a second. Then I circled a different one of my own, 3 weeks past hers, the day I had already decided, on my own, to have my son help me clear out the garage. Nothing more than that. Just the day I had picked. I hung the calendar back on the nail, 2 circles on it now, hers and mine, sitting there next to each other, close enough that the edges nearly touch, and I did not take either one down.